Hello, everyone. I am back. I took 3 weeks off. Um, I was not expecting to, but some things came up for me personally. But I am back, and this episode we're gonna be talking about Echo K. Littlewolf, Daisy Mae Heath, and Karen Louise Johnley. Some Indigenous women, and there is so little on each of these women that I'm compiling them all into the same video. But I still feel like it's important to talk about their story as always, and it's just really sad. So I'm gonna hop into it. Um, the form for case suggestions is down below, and so are all of the links, or not links. Well, yeah, links to resources that I used for research in case you want to look around. But honestly, everything that I have here is everything I could find. I was going to the back pages of Google trying to find things, and it's the sad reality of cases on minority people, especially Indigenous women. They don't get the same coverage, and there's just very little known about their cases compared to white people. But we're going to get into it, and we're going to start off with Echo K. Littlewolf. So Echo was 31 when her mother discovered her remains in poor condition in a field outside of Wapato, Washington on August 15th, 2017. Echo was homeless and known to camp in that area. Her remains were in really bad condition, and it was such bad condition that she initially couldn't be identified, but was given her name when authorities were able to match her two false front not her I'm sorry, I'm reading my notes out of order. Her descendants' two false front teeth, by the way, to those of Echo, who lost them in a childhood accident. I can't speak, I'm so sorry. So family reported Echo missing about a week prior to them finding her. And they report that authorities seemed unconcerned and claimed someone had seen her in the past several days. That's their thing and that they like to say. At the behest of the investigating agency, an autopsy was not performed, and it was determined that Echo died from quote-unquote natural causes, likely heart failure as a result of drug use. Authorities claim there were no signs of foul play. The family, of course, believe that Echo may have been murdered. When she was found, Echo wasn't carrying anything on her, including a large purse and an EBT card she almost always had on her person. She had just cashed 2 per capita checks before her disappearance, and it's possible that she was killed during a robbery. The investigation is considered closed. And just a little bit about Echo. She grew up with 3 brothers and was known as a tomboy. She was frequently transient and struggled with chemical dependency, but checked in often with her family and friends. And honestly, that's all I could find on Echo. I cannot. Well, I guess I can because we see it often, how the authorities were in this situation. Because I feel like I say this in every video, the family knows the victim better than authorities do. And if they say she checks in often, she has these things on her at all times, and then she suddenly doesn't, and she's found dead in a field, to me that would raise some red flags. I would look into it a little bit more and not say, oh, somebody saw her in the last few days. People can be wrong, people can be mistaken. You should still look into it, and I feel like they handled it really badly. And I can't believe that it's considered close. I can't believe a freaking autopsy was not performed. Like, what? I don't care if you think it's natural or not. I feel like an autopsy should always be performed. Just so you know, just so you have that evidence, that closure. Like, I just feel like it's something that should be done every time. And maybe it causes a lot of money or something. I don't know the excuse for it. I still feel like it should just be a given. I feel like everybody deserves to have one. Their family, you know what I'm saying? But I hope that something can happen. Maybe they can reopen the case. I don't know what it would take for that. And something can happen. And I hope that Echo and her family can receive justice because it was not handled well. Now we are going to talk about Daisy Mae Heath. So, Daisy Mae Heath, she loved playing softball, just like her sister Patsy Whitefoot. The two of them were usually on the same team, but not always. Um, which was especially true in basketball, where she really excelled. It was her favorite sport, and competing against her was challenging. Daisy was a fighter who battled for every point. Um, Daisy, who traveled between White Swan and the Warm Springs Reservation in Oregon, was living with her sister Patsy when her family last saw her in late August 1987. She was reported missing on October 29th, 1987 at age 29. Her backpack, keys, and ring were found in a remote area of the Yakima Reservation known as Soda Springs. It's closed to non-tribal citizens unless they have permission to be there, and road access is monitored when a guardhouse is staffed. Her disappearance has been described by the FBI as a suspected homicide. The FBI has jurisdiction to investigate all serious crimes involving Native Americans on tribal lands. In the 1980s and 1990s, at least 14 Native women were murdered in cases that remain unsolved or died under mysterious circumstances on the 1.3 million acre reservation spanning Yakima and Klickitat counties. At least 2 Native women disappeared in that time and are still missing, and that includes Daisy. Karen Johnley Wallahy was last seen in Hara on November 7th, 1987. She was also 29. Yakima County is the second largest county geographically in Washington. It covers approximately 4,295 square miles, from the dusty shrub steppe to densely forested wilderness and rough backcountry where life or death can hinge on a clear head, adequate clothing, and the right skill set. But Daisy knew how to survive in the mountains for weeks at a time as she hunted or fished or gathered traditional foods or spent time with relatives. She was resourceful and physically strong, but emotionally fragile when she went missing. Her disappearance still impacts her family and friends. And this is a quote from her sister Patsy that says, "It's hard to put your hands around this issue, particularly if you're a family member. There are different ways people are going to interface with this issue, even within family members. The loss that people feel, the lifelong grief, anger, when someone has gone missing or was murdered and you don't know what happened." And that is all I have for Daisy. I guess at least the FBI is getting involved, but it's been well over 30 years, and as far as I know, the case is still unsolved, so I don't know if they're even, working on it, if it's even something they consider a priority, to be honest. Uh, I would also agree that it's a homicide, because if she's resourceful and strong, even if she was emotionally fragile, I feel like she could at least survive if she was out there somewhere. I feel like someone probably did kill her. I just, it's been, over 3 years, and I hope her family and can just get her justice. But next we have Karen Louise Johnley, or Karen Johnley Wallahy. And I have just a paragraph on Karen. It's so sad how little there are on all of these women. They honestly deserve so much more coverage, but let's go ahead and get into it. So, Wallahy was last seen on November 7th, 1987, at the Lazy R Tavern in Hara, according to her cousin. It was a Saturday night, and her cousin tried to get Karen to leave, but she wouldn't. According to the missing person report her cousin made the following Monday, her cousin told tribal police that she had no transportation, that Karen had no transportation. Her cousin checked with Wapato, Toppenish, and Yakima police departments with no success. And goes on to say it is not like her to at least call. And she disappeared a little bit more than a month before her 29th birthday. So she was 5 feet tall and weighed 100 pounds. In a photo displayed during some events, it was to raise awareness for missing and murdered Indigenous people. And she is so beautiful, and I will have her photo on the screen. And that's all I have on Karen as well. I do want to say that if you've noticed, these women have died right before or after their 29th birthday. it kind of feels like there's a serial killer targeting Indigenous women, right? Like maybe they're being targeted. I know that they're all 29-year-old Indigenous women doesn't mean like there's a serial killer. It's just kind of weird. And I feel like these are all very suspicious disappearances. As far as I know, Karen's remains haven't been found, but is still missing. I don't even know if the case is closed, to be honest. Like, this is all I could find. I couldn't even find if it was closed or not. But I hope that all three of these cases get some light shed on them. There's more details that come out. Remains are found. Suspects are charged. I hope that the families get peace and the justice they deserved. And if they hear this, I just want to say that I'm sorry. All of your girls are beautiful and they deserve longer lives than what they had. And may justice prevail. Anyways, thank you guys for listening to Echo, Daisy, and Karen's stories, and I will see you next week. Bye, guys.